Hello, Darklings! So I'm back with another director spotlight. It's definitely been quite some time since I last did one, and this one is on David Fincher. So he's one of those directors I didn't really realize how much I liked his stuff until all of a sudden I noticed I'd seen pretty much all of his movies, which is always fun. So he was born in 1962 in Denver, Colorado, before moving with his family to California. He ended up working in Industrial Light and Magic from 81 to 83 and ended up directing a lot of music videos and commercials and stuff of that nature throughout the 80s. And then his first feature film came in 1992, Alien 3, which almost killed his career before it even properly started. As a giant fan of the Alien series, this movie sucks. I like it because the cast is fantastic and it has that early stylistic element that then became kind of trademark in Fincher's work, but it's not what I'd call a good movie. I mean, So that movie was sort of a career suicide, and it was definitely a shame. He was pretty upset about it. But then there was a script that was floating around Hollywood that was kind of gaining a little bit of infamy, and it was one of those, if you can pull this off, then you are going to be the Hollywood golden boy, but it's a dangerous film to try and do. And as that turns out, in 1995, it was realized by him as Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. If you haven't seen this movie, I won't give you any spoilers, including what's in the box, but you should definitely watch it because it's kind of dark, it's a little nitty-gritty, and it's just really cool and generally fucked up, which is always awesome. Especially for like non-horror movies to have a thriller going on. It's definitely a cool effect and a very interesting movie that gained him a ton of positive attention. The next movie on this list is the only one of his films I haven't seen, and that's The Game from 97, so I can't really tell you anything about it since I haven't seen it. However, the film following after that in 99 is one of my favorite movies and used to have quite the obsession with when I just went into college, which was Fight Club with, again, Brad Pitt and with Edward Norton and Helena Bonham Carter. If you haven't seen this movie, you're seriously missing out. I think it's pretty fucking cool. And also kind of kick-started my obsession with Chuck Palahniuk novels. And if you haven't read the novel for Fight Club, you're not exactly missing out because it's exactly the same as the film, and it's one of the best book to film adaptations I can think of off the top of my head. And Fincher in general seems to do pretty well with those. The next film that he did in 2002 was Panic Room with Jodie Foster and a very little Kristen Stewart. And that was also, I only saw it once, and it was kind of not the type of film that I usually watch. It was good. It was kind of an almost edge of your seat sort of thriller, and it was a very interesting idea, and it was really, really weird seeing Jared Leto in cornrows, but it was an interesting movie and very, very cool. I do suggest watching it. The next one after this, I only saw it when it came out when I was about 14, and so I don't have the clearest impression of it, but I do remember that it was good, which was Zodiac in 2007. I never researched into the Zodiac killer in all my serial killer research. That was just one that was never really on my radar, so I didn't know that much about it then. I still don't really know that much about it now, and I can't give you an accurate idea of that film. However, the next film he directed the following year in 2008 is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which, for those who remember, was causing a lot of stirrings and was a big deal, Oscar nods, all that fun stuff. I thought it was definitely a cool concept, and it was an interesting film, kind of sweet, kind of sad. Not exactly the type of thing I go for, but still a good film. The next one, from 2010, I mostly only like because Trent Reznor did the score and got an Academy Award for it, which made me beyond pleased as a giant Nine Inch Nails fan. That is The Social Network. I use Facebook, but I hate Facebook. Personally, it's not really my deal. I use it because it's a business opportunity. And even so, seeing the foundation, whether or not it's fiction, of that infamous social media network is kind of cool. And the way it was approached was done pretty well and very, very engaging. The one after that, in 2011, I absolutely loved, which is Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. As someone who read all three of the books and did see all three of the Swedish films before this one came out, I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was very, very interesting, and there were some things from the book that weren't in the Swedish version that made it into this version, and I thought it worked out quite well. And I really did like Rooney Mara as Lisbeth. Lisbeth is just one of the ultimate, most badass, flawed, and awesome female characters that I've come across. Before anyone will ask, I do know about the fourth book being released. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Then his most recent film from 2014 is Gone Girl, also based off of a book. I haven't read the book. I didn't know anything about the plot. I'd heard everybody talking about this book, but I never got around to seeing it, or reading it, I mean. And then I only just barely saw the movie a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was insane. I was just kind of blown away by that entire premise because I didn't know what to expect. It just certainly was not that, but it was pretty fucking cool. And just generally very dark. And Neil Patrick Harris was kind of the surprise. Kind of like my lamp is a surprise. So anyway, if you didn't already familiarize yourself with David Fincher, I do suggest looking into some of his films. They're all going to be listed in the description as per usual. And yeah, he's a pretty awesome director. He's got some stylistic elements and some color palette choices that are very distinct to him, including some repeat actors. He seems to be pretty fond of Brad Pitt, which I don't disapprove of. I ended up liking him in his 90s roles a lot. So anyway, till next time, Darklings.